Tumbling is your buying. Welcome to the show. I'm just doing well, having a wonderful day. On this 15th September 2025. First of all, let's start just with the rightful start, which is an apologies. What happened is I didn't have any storage. However, I got some really good news for you guys. I didn't have enough storage, so the recording completely stopped. However, we do have some amazing news for you guys. What are the amazing news? Great question. The amazing news in itself is that your boy, your boy, closed the computer. I was able to go to sleep. It took me a while to sleep, but we did sleep. Phone charge, battery's done. Today is the 15th, so we have 48 hours. I want to say 46 because it's not 48. 46 hours to watch Brooklyn Nine-Nine. I'm not gonna finish the show, obviously, because you know I'm a dumbass that thought I had way more time than I thought than I actually had. But you know what? We'll do the most we can, and I'm sad to see the show go. But at the same time, you know, it's some good news because we're gonna have a lot of Brooklyn Nine-Nine content, which I'm excited for. Okay, so we have the ending of season 2, episode 18. So the plan tonight is actually super cool. The plan tonight, because right now it's night, but it's also morning because we slept for 5 hours, I think. I don't know for how much time I slept, because I don't know what time I went to sleep, which is the truth. So, right now we have one more episode. We got this one, which is finished. We got one more episode. After that, I'm going to be doing 2 hours of Brooklyn Nine-Nine. I'm going to come back in the morning at 5:30, which is an hour and a half, not 2 hours. I'm going to do a couple of Brooklyn Nine-Nine videos, and then I'm going to do a personal video. And then I have an appointment with the government. But let's go. Okay. So we have the cool scene where is the finale. Well, not the finale, but the ending of the episode, which is always kind of cringy with Brooklyn Nine-Nine, but this one's actually pretty good. So Holt gave the Beyonce ticket to Gina because she's the one that discovered that he didn't know what was it. And again, I think he has he likes Gina a lot, and he goes to see Peralta, and Peralta just had a fight with his father because it's like, you're a shitty dad, dude. You are a shitty dad. And Holt goes in and said, I know what you did wasn't easy, I'm proud of you. And in this moment, he's a better father to Jake than Captain Peralta has ever been. And it's a really cool moment because you can see how much it plays to Jake. Andy Samberg, I love the guy, listen, I love Rolling Island, but he has a tendency to overplay. It's hard for him to keep serious, which I understand. But this one is a really sweet moment. Look at this, nice job in Quebec. By the way, I have to say, old pronunciation of Quebec is perfect. You heard that the Quebec is perfect. It's perfect. Most English people would call it Quebec, but it's the way you said it is perfect. Listen to this.
Are you giving me an allowance?
No, I'm paying the bartender for more drinks.
Right.
Aww. It meant a lot.
9 minutes start now.
And it's not because the phone is too hot. It's not because when you listen to Jake, you think that he doesn't even have a father. You think that he doesn't even have a father because of how his father is too bad. And at the same time, I have to say, both here did amazing because imagine telling your best friend that his father or a parents is kind of shitty. It's not easy. I never even been there, and I can tell you it's not easy. But at the same time, he did a wonderful job, and I don't know. I'm really liking what they're doing with the character of Boyle right now. What they're doing with the character of Boyle right now is amazing. For some reason, YouTube upload faster than TikTok. And this is cool because because it's night, so the phone overheats, which tells me, hey, you gotta close. Why? Because we're doing this. We're doing the same thing here. So you see here, this is the camera, hi, and this is the game. So yeah, hi. I zoomed in, so all this on my forehead. Yeah. So we have Sabotage, which is mugging, which is season 2, episode 19. This is super cool. It's not my favorite episode, but it somehow is a really nice feel good cop episode. So Boyles goes in and Boyles is talking about the briefing, and it's a cool thing because again we're working on Boyles and him being more serious, right, which is kind of cool. Now, admittedly speaking, it is cool, but it's not cool at the same time because you want to have a lot more characters that have precious moment than just the main cast. And Boyles, although I love him, did have more scene than a character like Gina. Gina, we basically don't have it, you know. And you could take a character like Scully and Hitchcock and understand where they're coming from with that. But a character like Rosa, when I say Gina, I meant Rosa. But Gina, she doesn't have really plots of her own. It's always something that's akin to somebody else, right? But hey, so then we have Jake, who's constantly being, and this is super cool. As a cold opening, this is one of the best. I didn't remember it until I remember it. So Jake, what he does is he's constantly late, and it's like people fucking with him, right? So then he does a urine test, and there's crystal meth and cocaine in his system. This is cool because the captain is like, "You're fired," which is really funny because this is not the first time Jake got fired, and somehow with Captain Holt it makes more sense. But Jake is able to prove that he has a bill that shows that he did tank the full tank of gases. So then Amy and Rosa are they're on a case. The cool thing is the Captain Holt's like, "I only volunteer," and Charles right away says, "Me," and then Holt, what he says, "You're too close to the case." So this made me laugh. This made me happy. So yeah, so that's basically the cold opening. Oh yeah, okay, go. So Gina had a concert last night, and Terry and Holt pretended they were there, which is funny because with Gina it's weird. I don't know if she sees them as. She holds them in high regard, but for example, when you take Amy, right? When you take Amy, you see a mentor. When you see Jake, is a father figure. When you see Charles, Holt is a guy that he has to impress. You know, Holt is the Mount Everest of trying to please somebody because he's so hard to please. When you finish it, you accomplish something for a lifetime, right? And when you look at it, only like. Well, 4 people got to do it. Jake, Amy, Terry, and Gina. That's still more than half of the cast, but you know what I mean. You know what I mean, right? Again, wave skip, shit like that, amazing. Wave skip, wave accelerator. We're doing so much better. And that's pretty much it. So, this is super cool. So Terry is saying like, "Oh, we should lie to her. We should pretend like it we were there, because we don't hurt her feelings." And I was like, "No, I don't want to lie to her. The right thing is to tell the truth." Now this is kind of cool, but kind of ambiguous because Scully or Hitchcock had a birthday party and nobody attended. So and then Holt was more than down to lie about the fact that he went. So either he doesn't respect Hitchcock and he respects Gina, or shows. And I don't say this is the case with Brooklyn Nine-Nine. However, I will say that the last season was kind of not good. A lot of shows what they're gonna do is they're gonna run for a long ass time, and because they run for a long ass time, they run out of idea. For example, you take a show like Simpson that's been on the air for 30 years. I don't know how to do it, you know? So yeah, there you go. You got Amy and Rosa who are asking Jake about questions, so questioning him, which is cool because it's professional. You really do feel like it's professional over Jake, which is good because they're biased versus a guy like Charles. And why it's also good is because Captain Holt here was right. Captain Holt was right. Charles would have allowed Jake to go out scot-free, but Rosa and Amy are really doing their job. And the problem here is going to be Jake is going to be trying to be a cop. So Jake, we know that he's a good cop, but however, can he beat Jake versus being a cop? And in this case, it's harder. So this is super good. Holt told him not to go. I love this. And Jake is playing the friendship cards like, yo, you gotta have my back. You gotta be willing to work with me. But they respect the rules, and I appreciate that.
Those are cappuccinos. And a lot of takes to phone that milk, and I could have spent on my cake, but it was just robbed over for
I feel like we should come over here with us.
They go to a urine sample to do a quest, and this is super nice because this is something that's not supposed to make sense, but makes a lot of sense. So they get the urine sample, right? Which is the reason why in the end we have the ending that we have. So Jake was being fucked with. Somebody is fucking with Jake. Now the cool thing here is you don't know who he is. So Rosa and Amy are leaving him, and they don't know he's kidnapped. However, because they find out in their urine, they find out who he is. They know exactly where he is, which is good. It's a he. I'm not gonna say who it is, but still. Terry goes in. There's a really cool scene where Gina comes in and she's going to ask Captain Holt how did you find a show, and this is Holt going to lie to her, but Terry's trying to stop her. However, there's no stopping Holt. So this is a sad moment, and Gina kind of overdid it because she's like, oh well, my career as a dancer is finished. But at the same time, this is Gina. She's dramatic, and we love her for it. We love her for it. Terry tells Charles to add Boyles. Terry tells Charles, which is Boyles, to add Hitchcock and Coley to the investigation. However, the problem is Charles doesn't want to work with them because, for obvious reason, duh. I mean, they do take it personal and and in the end they solve the case. So it's a great show. However, it's very reminiscent of the Super Dan episode where Rosa and Amy didn't listen to a guy called Super Dan because he seemed crazy, but then Scully and Hitchcock did. So it's really reminiscent. Coffee. What was the coffee? The coffee with this. Nice little brand called Cafe Right. There's still some coffee in there. Every single gram, every single grain of coffee is amazing. Jake doesn't listen starting cash held to the yield. So now it's how much? It's 25. It is such a shitty thing to do. My apologies. Ooh. It's such a shitty lab to have, but at the same time, if I'm gonna do tier 2, it's gonna be useful. My apologies. There has to be a better way to spend my time. Return cash. Wanna do range? No, I can't do range. Wanna do health? Health would be good. Health would be good. Health would be great. Damage. Damage, I haven't done it in a while, so let's do damage. Ocean Eyes. Jake even goes in the car, and this is where this is so cool. This is where he gets arrested. You realize that is the ex-boss of Sophia. So what happened is Jake actually got him a really not a bad sentence, but this led to his wife questioning him, which led to him doing crystal meth and cocaine even more, which got him into more trouble. Now he kidnaps Jake and said, oh, you ruined my life. It's a really nice backstory on how it snowballed into a small problem to a big problem. But this is really cool because this is a guy we stopped. So technically speaking, I don't want to be a dick. Who did we arrest that was kind of interesting? Nobody, right? Except for maybe this guy, right? What did we stop it? Well, we had the Amy arrest, which is Minsk. Then you didn't really care about it. You had who else? Oh, by the way, last episode I forgot to say, the wedding episode. Amy and Jake are getting closer. It's not clear. So the Amy and Jake episode of the wedding is great because you kind of guessed by guessing. It's not that hard. You kind of surmise that okay, well these guys are gonna end up together, which is good. But at the same time, when they actually end up together, you're like okay, I didn't see it, which I think is good. I think it's good. I gotta take mustache hairs in my nose. So Jake is trying to calm the guy down, and he has a speech where he's gonna kill Jake. So this is very nice. In a sense of there's real thing at play, right? Is he gonna kill Jake? I don't think so, but I think he's crazy enough to do it. Yes, which is kind of funny. So Amy and Rosa will have Jake back and save him. Don't worry. We have back with the Holt and Terry situation with Gina. Holt, and this is really cool because see the importance Holt and this in a cop show is really good. I don't want to be repeating myself, but I'm going to be repeating myself. It's a cop show. Cops are really into grades. For example, your status or the hierarchy, right? Holt has nowhere to go but up because if he goes higher, then he won't be captain of the precinct. It'll be attorney general. I don't know. But he's not gonna be the precinct, so we want him to stay in the precincts, which means gonna go hunting higher. Now in the show, he will go lower, but most of the time he's gonna go higher. And this is cool because he's the only one of the precinct that doesn't have a need for a promotion. Now, where's that lead us? That leads us to the perfect, and I do mean perfect spot that we want to be in. What is that perfect spot that we want to be in? Great question. So the perfect spot that we want to be in is a spot where the only thing that's left for him to do is upgrade the personality. The Holt versus Captain Holt versus Raymond Jacob Holt versus Captain Holt, which I think was good. So he goes in and said, hey, I regret. So we have more of the kidnapping. We have the scene. I would have loved if they did, because Jake is a fan of movies, I would have loved if they did a Joker. Look at me, which is super nice. By the way, you know what's insane? I don't know, it went 2025, right? There's this old Homelander is actually Look at Me. But this is insane because Joker did it 10 years before. And he did it 10 years before, and he did it better, in my opinion. Anthony Starr is a great actor, though. I like Anthony Starr a lot. And what I like him in Banshee, to be honest. I didn't see The Boys, but and Banshee was good. In Banshee, he was really good.
No, I'm no funny mind. Simply the problem.
Thank you, Captain. You just made me the happiest.
So then, this is the coolest thing ever. The coolest thing ever is Holt, to apologize for what he did. He gives Gina not money. It looked like he give her money, but he doesn't give her money. What he does is he hired a band to show like he trusts in them. You give like a contract and said, you know, if I didn't trust in you, I wouldn't hire you. So I think this is really, 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 really dope. Amy and Rosa save him and said, we're sorry we doubted you, which is kind of cool. Charles says, hey, listen, I'm sorry to Scully and Hitchcock.
Amazing. Try to just do your jobs.
And it sucks because those are two great scenes, right? Amy and Rosa's like, yo, we should have trusted you more because you know you're a good guy. And then Charles is the same thing to Scully and Hitchcock. So it's two amazing scenes of people admitting to mistakes. But first of all, it's the same mistake and it's the same scenario. As in Jake is, see, for example, right, you see Terry does that, right? Terry who would have a drug urine. You would know that Terry wouldn't do it because it's Jake. People would think about it. So, you know, that was kind of sad. Next on the list.
Fine. If this will make you happy. I believe these.
You know what? This is really cool. So Jake, he wanted to say, because he was suspended, he wanted to give the badge and the gun in a very dramatic way, which is typical of the cop show or movie in this case. And all at the end is like, you know what, Jake, you got it. You wanted to play it out. You want to pretend like we're in a movie. We're like in a movie. So you listen to it. Yeah, it's really cool.
But as I said before, the system stinks and this isn't over. I say we march down to City Hall.
Yeah, this is really good. And then we have AC/DC, which is the ending. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go back in, and I'm gonna be watching some Brooklyn Nine-Nine. I'm gonna be watching it until right now it's 4:20, 4:18, but 4:20 because I don't smoke, but I know a lot of people smoke. So if I appeal to that demographic, maybe I'll get rich and famous on the back of weed head. Just like Ching Chong. What was that? Tommy Chong in. Oh my god, I don't know. But you know what exactly what I mean, right? So we're gonna be heading on that demographic. I'll be back in about an hour 20. So I'll watch 5 episodes. It's gonna be the sunrise, and then with the sunrise, I'll be able to do a couple of episodes. Then we'll watch some more. I'll go to the government. When I'll come back, and I'll be like, yo. And yo bitch, a little bit of Jesse Pinkman. And today we're really gonna crash it with Brooklyn Nine-Nine. I have one more video to do, and it's kind of like cool videos, but in itself, it's not super important. So anyway, I love you guys. Take it easy. Let's go work. I look around me, all I seem to see, people going nowhere.